Hello and welcome again to Naas, and on the other hand, Deon. Deon, firstly, enjoying your holiday?
At last. It's been a long year, but finally there.
It's been a long year, huh?
Yeah. It was a tough one for many reasons, but we pulled through. And I think the both of us had quite a successful one together. But yeah, I think we're looking forward to the years coming.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Firstly, explain where we are because this is definitely not the normal background.
No, we're sitting in Pretoria, Ferry Glen at the boiler room. Um, Thank you for hosting us today. So yeah, if you want to pull in for the holidays, get a nice brandy special, beer specials, this is the place to be. So yeah, Pretoria, Ferry Glen, and hopefully they see you guys soon.
Okay, but I must add, if you're not really like me into brandy and coke, you can always come for a nice coffee any time of the day. Okay. What you do after the coffee, I've got absolutely no idea. And I don't really care. But nice for Boiler Room to support us. Actually, to invite us. That just shows you we've got two viewers. That's all we need. That's all we need. Okay. Let's get to. We're not really going to talk too much about the games, okay? Because apart from two teams, we had actually a little bit of an indifferent weekend. But what was quite irritating, and I'm not pointing a finger at the commentators, okay? Take note. What was irritating the whole time the Stormers played La Rochelle, it was mentioned the young side of La Rochelle, the young side of La Rochelle. And at one stage, I actually put the sound off because I just couldn't handle it anymore. Because in my books, you select your side, I select my side. Stormers playing La Rochelle. Nobody's forcing the coach, O'Gara, to select the young side. Nobody cares if he select the young side. Nobody cares if he selected the most experienced side. The Stormers playing La Rochelle. But why I'm saying this is, it's bringing me to the point that somewhere the structures in rugby aren't correct. Why I'm saying that? We want the best against the best in every single competition. You agree? Yes or no?
No, for sure. And I think we've spoken about it. The pinnacle in club rugby is the Champions Cup. So obviously you want to have your best teams playing there and have your best players available. But that's something that we're not seeing each weekend. And it feels like if you play away, you send the B team. But why not send the best and try and beat the best? And that's, for me personally, it's the only way that you're going to develop your players much better as well, exposing them under pressure away from home against the best.
Okay, but that brings me to the point. In Europe, it was easy because I loved the European Cup in the old days. The Heineken Cup was actually the Heineken Cup. I loved it because it was the best against the best the whole time. Suddenly, South Africa entered the front. Okay. Now, suddenly, teams need to travel. We know about Super Rugby. A lot's been said for many years about the traveling from South Africa to Australia to New Zealand, from New Zealand to Australia to South Africa. Okay. And that's why we're not part of Super Rugby anymore. I believe it's because of the traveling. Okay. Now, suddenly, the European sides need to travel to South Africa. Now, the question, and I know it's a very difficult one, not a lot of people would like to talk about it, but is it the traveling to South Africa, the traveling from South Africa to Europe, that forcing coaches to play different sides when they play in different continents?
Yeah, I think the coaches are prioritizing certain other tournaments like the URC or the English Premiership or the top 14 in France. So I think where they're lying there determines who they play. So that's why January coming, we'll maybe see something different where Bullside, for instance, sends his best team to France. But we're definitely not seeing the quality that's needed for a Champions Cup.
Yeah.
And We've been speaking about it. The URC, you don't have the same quality as that you have in the European or the Champions Cup.
Absolutely not.
So why not play your best sides against the top tier teams? And now for the Bulls, for example, they're probably going to make 12, 13 changes on the weekend for the Sharks. But
After 55, it might be 16 changes.
But I believe those guys wanted to play yesterday. I know they need to rest and etc. But a guy like Pollard, I don't think he even had 50 minutes cap time at the end of year tour. And why did he have to miss out yesterday against Northampton?
I heard it was he had to, according to the agreement between the franchises and SA Rugby, he had to rest. Okay. But that's bringing us, and we've already been through this one. Is it the 30 games of 80 minutes or is it 30 games selected? We heard now it's it's 30 games of 80 minutes. But I would rather take a Pollard and rest him in a URC game as to, rest him in a European Championship game. What I'm saying is, if you take the European Championship, it takes, I think, 7, 8 games to win. Then you're the best team in Europe and as now South Africa. Okay, that's what it is. If you take the URC, it's 17, 18 games, then you might be the champion. So I would definitely go, if I'm the coach, go for the championship.
No, for sure. Even if you don't win 7 or 8 games in the URC, you can still qualify for the quarterfinal.
Absolutely.
And your best team will still be available to play.
Yeah.
But I think for especially South African teams, you can't afford to buy these expensive players, but they're not available to play.
Yeah, that is a problem. Okay, I heard another rumor, and I call it a rumor. Okay, and I've been quite outspoken about it. I thought it's the Northern Hemisphere that's anti the one season. Okay, or a global season, not a one season, global season. Okay, people might think if I say one season rugby is not going to be played next year. That's not what I mean. Okay, now I heard, so it's hearsay, not factually checked, but I believe it's New Zealand that's anti the global season.
Oh, that's quite interesting because that's one country at the moment that needs all the help possible to improve their game again.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, it's quite interesting coming from their side. But, yeah, I think both of us still believe that's the only way forward for all countries, clubs, nations to get the most out of players and coaches to have one global season. And that's it.
Yeah, and the sooner the better. Okay. Then another one. Okay. We saw on the weekend, and it's a little bit frustrating watching. Okay. As a supporter, the closer the teams, and we've did mention this before, but the closer the teams get to the goal line, the more it's the one pass game. There's no creativity. There's no smart play. There's no outsmart the defense. It's 1-on-1 and one, and you either lose the ball or after about 15 tries, you score 8 tries. Okay, where is that? Is that coming down to coaching? Is it coming down to the new kind style of play? Don't they trust the back line with the ball 5 meters from the goal line? Because we see so many times it's a bang, 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 and then 1-2 passes and the guy scores.
Yeah, I think we've been seeing this for quite some time now. And once again, that's where your 9 and 10 must take more control because obviously there's 8, 9 defenders always waiting around the rack.
Absolutely.
So common sense tells you the space is on the outside. So
Yeah.
are you lacking the skill to play the ball wide or aren't you seeing the space? And there's a bigger risk for me in bashing up and conceding a penalty rather than playing the ball into space and getting the guys into the gaps. And I think that's where Northampton yesterday outsmarted the Bulls with their extra offloads.
Yeah.
So many times Mitchell just plays the guy into the gap and they over the try line.
Yeah. Okay. Then there is an incident yesterday with the Bulls. Now, I can't believe, okay, that was the turning point, the yellow card. Then, what was interesting, they showed a replay, and you can see the Northampton player actually tripped the Bulls player first. Then he reacted. Then he got sent off. And the ref actually said, yeah, but the first one was a little bit more accidental. Okay? The trip was a little bit more accidental. If you really want to analyze it, and I've done it for 30 years, so at least I know a little bit, okay? You can see it's not accidental. Okay. But the Bull player gets sent off. They scored, I think, two or three trials in the 10-minute, the span of 10 minutes. But the thing is, we always talk about the instigator first. So for me, that call should have been that guy instigated it, then the Bulls player reacted. So yellow card to the instigator. If it's an accident, it's an accident. But it's still you instigated something for me to react, but I'm getting penalized.
And the interesting fact there, Furbank, their fullback, he went to the ref and said to her, listen here, but the Bulls player kicked him. Nobody saw it.
Yeah.
So since when can you go up to the ref and tell the ref, listen here, you have to go bang there. Then we're going to have a 4-hour game. So in the first place, that shouldn't have happened. But like you said, there's always something that's starting something. So go and look at the first problem.
See, let's go back to Eben. He's taking his punishment like a man. But he did say something happened. Okay? If you can put it in a little box and say that happened, and that's why the reaction, whatever, it doesn't matter. Somebody instigated. Now that yesterday, you could see that if it's an accident, it's still a question mark. You still need to then penalize both players, or just let it be part of rugby, because kicking a player, it's not really part of the laws. Okay, we all know that. But if you look at that incident in the big picture, I would have made a different call. I think she was absolutely wrong.
Now, I would have played on there because even that little kick, there was nothing in it. So let's just play on. And for them conceding a yellow card, it eventually cost them.
It cost him badly. Okay. Then, you know what you just mentioned it. And I love it when you mention something like skill. Okay. Harlequins yesterday, couple of times, you could see the center can just take the ball there and just quickly flip it. And it overlaps there. What I hate seeing is when a player makes a mistake on the field and he goes, sorry boys. Okay. I just hate that. Okay. You just try your best. And if you make a mistake, you make a mistake. But twice I saw the centers of Harlequins. They're putting the ball under the arm. Now, if you put the ball under your arm, there is no way you're going to take the ball from there and just quickly pass it on. You agree?
No, 100%. And I think we see that also more too often, that you put the ball under the hand and you go in for the press. You're not giving the defense any choice but to hit you, because you know he's not going to make the pass.
He's not going to.
So you're giving yourself away. I think it's been a while since you've seen a great inside center running with the ball in both hands, keeping it in front of his body, creating something and being a second 5'8", like they call it in New Zealand, because you want the extra playmaker once your fly-off isn't there. But too often we don't see it, and most of the time the ball just gets kicked downfield.
Is it maybe the kind of game we're playing at the moment? Because, see, the thing is, why? I'm making statements, but I also ask questions. Okay. Why? Because you're part of coaching at the moment. You're busy with the guys. You're seeing the guys training, whatever. Is it the way we coach? Is it part of the new game that we play, that centers tend to put the ball under the arm instead of just draw the man, pass, overlap, score in the corner? Or is it because of all the gym work? And I know I'm going wide now. Is it because of all the gym work? I actually want to not outsmart Deon. I just would love to run over Deon. Okay, it's not going to happen in our case in any case, because I'm too slow and I'm too strong in any case for you. So, that's not going to happen. Okay. But I mean, is it maybe the coaching style that I'm missing here?
Yeah, but I think it starts with grassroots level. The guys aren't taught the right skills anymore. Your average kid can't catch a ball, can't catch and pass, or even kick a ball like we could in the old days.
Okay, just hang on there. Let's go primary school rugby. Is it because of the tendency of let's keep the ball to the biggest guy, let him just run over everybody and let him score?
100%. And I think it's because coaches, especially at primary school level, are so worried by winning the game instead of developing the player.
Yeah.
And you see that at many schools.
Yeah.
And then you get to high school and you tell the coach, now I played first team wing, but you can't catch and pass because the ball never got to you. Because you were never developed because the ball stopped at the big number 13 or the big number 8 picking up the ball. So there's definitely a lack of skill. And I think in the professional setup, we want to rather outmuscle the teams than outskill them.
Okay.
So for the Boks, it's working because they dominant with a physical game.
Yeah, but they also chase though. Let's be fair to the Boks. They've scored unbelievable tries this year. Really, some good tries. Now you can say yes, but look at some individuals. They did contribute a little bit more, but the Boks scored some fantastic tries. Okay, so we're definitely moving the in between. We can take them on with the forwards. We can destroy them with the backs. In the past, we destroyed them with the forwards. Now suddenly, you don't know what South Africa is going to put on the field. And I think that's why we're a little bit more difficult to play against. Okay, but now I see Jeremy Gascott. According to him, he says we're not that dominant than England of 2003, New Zealand 2011, 2015. But I want to say, why do we want to compare to 2003, 2011, 2015? The way the Boks are playing at the moment is the attitude should just be come and beat us, isn't it?
No, for sure. And I think Jeremy Gascott, I think he forgot that the rules has changed as well, because there's a lot more new rules. So even with all the new rules dominating as the Boks are doing at the moment, and having found the balance of playing with the backs and forwards, well done to them. But like teams, let's say Wales, Scotland, those guys are never going to be more physical than the Boks.
No.
So they will have to upsmart their skill, especially with their backlines, to try and create something to beat a stronger defender. So for us, it's definitely going to work. And at some stages, it will work being more physical. But I'll rather pick a skillful player than a big player because you can always get size.
Yeah.
But what happens if you lack the skill?
Yeah. They're always going to lack the skill and you're always going to lack speed. Okay, but now, while you're on that, okay, that brings me to skillful players when they were put under extreme pressure by South Africa in the last World Cup, didn't really respond that well to the pressure. Finn Russell against South Africa really struggled. The Pont, France against South Africa, last 15 minutes. He was running all over the park except in the right places, making the right decisions. So there's two players that struggle against South Africa when you put them under extreme pressure with some of the best skill in the world.
And I think you mentioned it just now that the fact that the Boks has the balance now, you don't know what's going to happen on a Saturday. So are they going to play with the forwards? Will it be a mix between the backs? Will we keep more? Will we put more pressure on defense? Will it be much more of a rush defense, or will we wait for them? And I think that's exactly where you want the opposition to be. Not just at international level, at any level. You want the opposition to start thinking, what are they going to have? Absolutely. We know what they're going to do.
Absolutely. Okay, but let's get back to a little bit of rugby. Okay, because we try and talk a little bit more because 90% of the people, are actually watching the game. So, just to tell them what happened in the game, they're actually, clever enough to see to see also all the interesting aspects. I want to take you through a couple of interesting results. Northampton 50, Bulls 5.
Yeah, that was a terrible performance from the Bulls. I think there's just absolutely no confidence and form at the Bulls at the moment. And it's not getting easier with the Sharks and Stormers away. But they will need to start finding a balance quickly, especially on defense. They've lacked a lot of tries since the start of the URC this year. And once again, I see the media saying that they should have taken off Voliter much earlier. But on the bench was Keegan Johannes again.
Yeah.
Did they back him in the 5 position? Otherwise, you would have probably pulled Caden off much earlier.
No.
They didn't do it. But yeah, that wasn't good for the Bulls.
Okay. A little bit of a surprise for me because after last weekend, I thought Bath is really on the right track. And then Toulon beat them 45-34. That's a little bit of a surprise. Okay. Another one, Quince 68, Bayern 14.
They played very well. But it's also, once again, also of the fact that the opposition team's not sending their teams.
Okay.
I think Bath was one of the only teams that really sent a strong competitive team away. So it was a good win for Toulon just to coming back there. But Quins was on fire. They played very well. And then next we had Glasgow Toulouse.
Yeah. 21-0, losing to Glasgow. Absolutely fantastic for Franco and his team. 28-21. I thought, looking at Toulouse last week, I thought very difficult for the team to go and beat them. Okay. And this is a fantastic result for Glasgow. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, DuPont was back, and I think he scored in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
So for them coming back from a 21-0 deficit is, once again, hats off to Franco. So that just shows you that Franco is actually in control of his team. He's knowing what to do. If they're slightly under pressure, they still back into the game.
Yeah.
We saw it in the URC final against the Bulls. They were behind. They came back and won. So he's doing a phenomenal job.
Okay, Munster winning. Okay, Bordeaux looks like a team that, I know they played against the Scarlets, but still, they showed us last week against the Bulls. They can do their job away from home. Okay. Great win for the Stormers against La Rochelle. We spoke about the young La Rochelle side. Doesn't matter. Stormers beating La Rochelle. Great result.
Sasha running the show there again. I think his goal kicking hasn't been great the past couple of weeks, but it's something he can work on because he's got world-class abilities. But yeah, the Stormers are just running on that confidence that they gained since the start of the season.
Yeah.
And they're going to become even more difficult to beat, especially at home.
Yeah.
So
for them, I think it's for them when to rest who of the box. Because if they can get it right, they can actually do very well in both competitions.
Sorry, Naas, at the Stormers, I think there's a lot of players there that's playing to maybe become a Springbok or wants to get back into the tail. With the Sharks and Bulls, you fully loaded. So is there still a lot to play for those guys? So I think at the Stormers, a lot of those players, there's a point to prove, and it's proving in the results.
Okay, then Sharks over Saracens. Good win for JP for a start.
Well, they had to win at some stage, so it was nice seeing them beating them in the rain as well. I think it favored Saracens at some stage.
Yeah.
But yeah, first game, first victory, and now the Bulls waiting.
Okay, so then Leinster over Leicester. Okay, and then of course the other games we just need to mention. Cheetahs losing to Stade Francais, 45-22, and then a little bit of a surprise. The Lions, I thought, could pull it through against the Newcastle that's been struggling in the Premiership, but going down 14-10. And that's about it. So from us, this is actually the day we say Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, because we're going to be off air for a couple of weeks. And then if you want to, Dion and myself have actually been doing a little bit of kicking, just to irritate a couple of you guys. And you can follow us on TikTok at Naas and on the other hand Dion, or Naas and Dion, but I think it's the other one. We what we want to do is we want to show you kicking is simple, okay? And what we will do is whoever wants a nice Christmas present, we'll send you some rugby balls. Which Christmas, we're not going to tell you.